Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to look at 12 Days. Now this game has been out for quite a while. I previewed it back in 2012, back when the game was on Kickstarter. And it's important to stress real quick that the copy that I received was somewhat of a prototype. So the components that you see in this video may not match the product that you might buy online. With that being said, you can download the game for free on the official website, cheapassgames.com. Yes, the name of the website and the company is Cheap Ass Games. I find that rather funny. But anyway, not the name I would choose to describe games that I'm making, but hey, it's not my business. Anyway, yeah, 12 Days is for 3 to 5 players, ages, I think it's like 8 or 10 and up, and the average play time is about 15 minutes. It's a Christmas-themed card set collecting game for the most part, and the person with the most points at the end of the game will win. So without further ado, let's take a look at the components and see how the game is played. Okay, so here's a quick look at the components. You've got your gift deck and your holiday deck. The holiday deck is just the 12 days of Christmas. You've got cards numbered 1 through 12 here. Over here on the left-hand side, you've also got cards ranging from 0 to 12, and it's everything that you would expect as the song goes. You've got 1 partridge in a pear tree, you've got 2 turtle doves, you've got 11 pipers piping, and so on and so forth. So you'll have 1 of these cards, you've got 2 of these cards, 11 of these cards in the deck, and so on and so forth. Now, there are 2 cards that are valued at 0. That is Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. Okay, now this is what game setup will look like. The deck of cards is shuffled, and each player will receive 12 of these cards to form their hand. And you'll put the 12 Days of Christmas, the holiday cards, in numeric order starting from 1. The game itself is played over 12 rounds or 12 days, and basically players will be competing to try and get these cards. Now, a round plays out as follows. The first thing you'll do is pick a card from your hand and pass it off to the player to the left. So let's just say that the player chooses this card to pass. That'll go over here. This card will pass, and this player will pass one to the left as so. Okay? Again, this is just example purposes, not exactly realistic or strategic gameplay here. After that, players will go ahead and play a card from their hand face down. The lowest number, whenever they are revealed all at the same time, will end up winning that card. So let's just say that the player decides to play a 6, and this player decides to play a 7, and this player over here decides to play, oh, I don't know, an 8. Okay. Again, you put these cards face down, and all at the same time, they'll go ahead and reveal them. And again, the player with the lowest number here will end up winning this card. So in this case, whoever played the 6, I believe it was this guy, these will get discarded, and this player will win the first day of Christmas here. After that, players will go ahead and draw 1 card from the deck so that their hand remains to be 12 cards. Okay, now in the event there's a tie, let's just say that this player plays a 5. Again, this is face down. Let's say this player, I don't know what this player has, 5 and a 9. There we go. Okay, so let's just say, oops, I mixed some cards up here. I think you get the idea. Whenever you reveal to see who would win the second day of Christmas, whatever it is, if you have a tie, these get sort of discarded, and the next highest will win. So while these 2 players played 5s and technically are the lowest number here, they tied and cancel each other out, and the 9 is left. So the 9 would end up winning the second day of Christmas here. Okay, now rounds will continue to play out until all 12 days of Christmas are won. Players will have different score piles, as you can see. This player has a 12, an 11, a 10, a 7, and so on and so forth. This player won the 8, the 5, and the 2. This player won the 9, the 6, and the 3. And this is going to be part of their score pile. After that, players are going to take a look at their hands to see whoever has the most of a particular number. So they're going to start at the 1s and say who has the most 1s. And players will go through their hands, try and figure out who has the most 1s. And whoever does gets to put 1 card into their score pile. I don't think anyone has any 1s. Okay. Let's move on to the 2s. The 2s here, let's see if anyone has the most 2s. This player does not have any 2s. Does this player have any 2s? This player does have a 2. Only 1 of them from the looks of it. And this player over here doesn't have any 2s. So technically this player would win that particular number, and he would put one of his 2s into a score pile, and the rest would just simply be discarded. Then they'll move on to the 3s, and let's just say, for the sake of expediency, let's say this player had the most 3s. Does he have any more 3s in here? No. Okay, so he would just take one, put it into a score pile. Players will move on to the 4s. This player has 1 4. This player has 1 4, 2 4s. Okay, let's just say it for the sake of argument. This player has the most 4s. One goes into the score pile. The other one gets discarded. And this will play out for all of the numbers, 0 through 12. And after that, players will go ahead and go through their score piles. They'll add up all of their holiday cards. This is 1 point, this is 4 points, this is 7 points, this is 10 points. And then they'll move on to their gift cards. This is worth 3 points, and so on and so forth. And whoever has the most points at the end of all of that will win the game. Alright, and there you have it, a very brief look at 12 days. I didn't cover all of the rules in the manual, but hopefully this will give you a nice general overview as far as how the game is played. Again, this is a prototype, so the components that you see in this video may not reflect 100% what you might buy in the store or what you download from the official website. As far as my preview went 2 years ago, I still feel the same way now. The artwork is fantastic. The cards are just beautiful. And there's actually a lot of strategy to this game, despite how simple it is to play. You're passing a card off to the left at the beginning of every round, so you're forced to get rid of a card that you may want to keep for a future turn. And again, you want to be using the low cards to try and win these holiday cards with the score number on the very top here. But at the same time, you want to try and get the most of the high cards so that whenever you get around to comparing to see who has the most of a particular number, you'll be left with the most 12s or the most 11s or the most 10s, so you can score a lot of points that way. So you sort of have to balance the two. You're trying to collect sets of the high numbers, but you also want to use those low numbers to get these holiday cards. So again, a lot of strategy here. So if you guys want to see the official preview I wrote 2 years ago, you can, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can keep up to date on any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.